Whoops. 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 Whoopsie daisy.
You need to slide down a little bit.
So, Doug, what is this evening?
Monday.
Monday evening. We had a nice Father's Day picnic here yesterday. Your dad, my dad came. Our son-in-law David came, and two of our daughters, and Lindsay's boyfriend Brady came. We had a good day.
Good evening.
A couple of the grandkids celebrating Papa's Day. But tonight is a special night. It's the 100th episode.
100?
Yeah.
It cannot be 100.
Can you tell he's faking that? It is 100.
We have not done this 100 times.
Well, some of the episodes, like I had told you before, if we had a two-part from the same episode, we would have recorded that in one sitting. Remember, there's been numerous times we've recorded
4 hours. 4 hours.
There's been numerous times we've recorded several episodes in one sitting. So that's how we got to 100.
Just doesn't feel like 100.
Well, Jack and I, it's only been a year since Jack and I started reading Bible stories, and the next one of ours is 60. I'll have read 60 stories with him. Probably only about 50 or so of those have been, on talk time, because I space them out. We don't want to flood the talk time videos with Jack and me every day, so try to keep it limited to once a week.
Very good. 100.
100.
That's good.
Yeah.
I give you credit.
Well, thank you. But you know what? I think a lot of people out there, we've got close to 60 people who wanted to win $100. So
you're going to have to wait till after this episode.
Yeah, we're going to make you watch the whole episode first. No, they would just fast forward. Yeah. So I'm going to I'm going to shake this up real good.
Whose name do you have taped to the bottom?
Yeah. Nope, it's going to be fair. Okay, Doug. Now you'll have to make sure that you don't get two. Whoops. Nope. Whoops. Nope. Okay. Pick one. Close your eyes. Don't even look. Make sure you only have one.
Nope, that's no good. Give me another one.
Yeah, let me see. Who is it? Nikki Miller.
Nikki Miller.
Our niece, Nikki Miller, just won $100. And Nikki is a member of Talk Time. She's even come on the show a few times. So I think she'll be happy with the $100.
Sure she will.
Nikki, I'll get a hold of you later on this week and probably just meet you out at the office, and I'll give you your...
We'll write you an IOU.
An IOU. Yeah. Yay, Nikki. All right. Sorry about all you others, but we'll have some more drawings throughout the year. We always do the Christmas drawings.
People were going to think it was rigged since our niece
No.
won.
Nope. I, fair and square, put about 60 names in here. Nope.
All those slips had Nikki Miller's name.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't have been fair either, because our daughter Kimberly put her name in there. And she's been on Talk Time too. So, yeah, I think if we pick Nikki over Kimberly, I think Kimberly might have a word or two for us. So,
What are we talking about tonight?
tonight I thought what would be fun. Yesterday was Father's Day. All about family. Mother's Day is normally May? Father's Day in June. I don't know. Is there actually a day that's celebrated for Grandparents' Day?
I think there is a Grandparents' Day.
But I don't know what day of the year that is. I'll put that on the screen here later. But, since we became grandparents, I think our lives have changed.
You think? Yeah. They have changed.
Yeah. But it's fun.
It's a good change.
It's a good change. It's different. We don't have the kids here any longer. The two girls live close by, and the boys live within a couple of hours. So, but there is a big difference between being a grandparent and a parent. And we're going to talk about some of those differences. But first, I'd like to read this book. My aunt, no, she wouldn't be my aunt. She's my mother's cousin. So what would that make me? My mother's cousin wrote this book. That would make her my first cousin once removed, because her children and mom's children, her children and I would be second cousins with her children, right?
I have no idea.
So I would think that she is my first cousin once removed. So anywho, she wrote this book. You see here, by Dolores Popp, P-O-P-P. It's Poetic Reflections. And my mother read this yesterday. She got choked up a little bit. So I read through it a couple times so I wouldn't get choked up. So I'll kind of read it differently. I will read it with joy and enthusiasm instead of reading it with like
Emotion.
emotion. Yes. So you thought it was a good one, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a very good.
It was
book.
good. And this, I think, happens. Now, this says Grandma's off her rocker, but I think we can put Grandpa in there too. I think this should be for grandparents. So if you're listening to this, whether you're a grandfather or a grandmother, I think you can relate to this. I know you can, Doug. Grandma's off her rocker. She's been doing crazy things. She's outside chasing fireflies. Wait, sorry. Let's start again. Grandma's off her rocker. She's been doing crazy things. She's outside chasing fireflies as though her feet had wings. We caught her playing marbles and fishing in the creek. It seems her favorite pastime is playing hide and seek. What's happened to this woman who once was so refined? What makes her act so strangely? It seems she's lost her mind. A little boy with cherub face is where we lay the blame. With big blue eyes and winning smile, her heart was his to claim. A gentle pat upon her knee with his dimpled little hand. In a voice as sweet as honey, he made this bold command. Grandma, get up off your rocker. It's such a sunny day. Grandma, get up off your rocker. Let's go outside and play. That simple invitation began her transformation. A couple games of hopscotch, a picnic on the ground, such joy they shared together. True kinship there they found. No more time for rocker sitting, much too busy now is she. No more time for purl and knitting, it's plain for all to see. That grandma's off her rocker, and she's happy as can be.
It's a good poem.
Yep, little kids, grandkids, have a tendency to make us come alive again.
So why is that?
Well, here's some reasons why. It's because we don't have all the tiring responsibility.
It's different when you get to this age. It's there's still responsibility, still things to do, but without the pressure of having 4 kids in the house is pretty quiet until the grandkids come over.
Yeah.
Then you really have the time, or you can take the time to
Spend with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here I found some interesting things. It says 10 reasons being a grandparent is way more fun than being a parent. Do you want to start off with a reason?
Well, everybody always jokes that you can send them home when you're done.
Sure.
And that's actually true.
That's true. Yeah. But read the first one. That's good there for you.
You are the king of kings. In the eyes of your grandchildren, you are nothing short of exalted. You tell the best stories, give the best treats, and give the best hugs. When you dispense your wisdom, your grandkids carefully heed your words rather than rolling their eyes. The kids don't play up to you because they know trying to play you off against anybody is futile. You are the universal force of life and primo VIP as far as they are concerned.
I think the rolling of the eyes would be more when they're teenagers. Yeah, yeah.
And your grandkids might do that when they're teenagers too. But
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, when I was growing up, and maybe you can relate, your dad could tell you something or your mom could tell you something, but if your grandmother or your grandfather told you the same thing, you were more likely to listen.
I agree with that.
Yep.
And whenever you get to be our age and you've raised your kids, hopefully we have gained a little wisdom
Yes.
through all that too, that we can
Yeah.
give some good advice or whatever that may be. Number 2, no boring stuff.
That's right.
No parent groups, doctors or dentist visits, homework or ferrying them around like you are a taxi. Nope. Just all the best stuff everybody wants to do, like visits to the zoo, fun at the playground, picnics in the garden, or video game challenges. The only things on your agenda are pure fun and joy, and creating memories your grandchildren will cherish forever. And that's so true too.
That is.
We don't have all those things of here and there and be picking up kids at sports and getting
Nope.
getting them to sports, and you actually have the time to enjoy
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, when they come to visit, you're not running them, like you said, to sporting events, or you're not running them to the doctor, or you're not making sure they're at the parent-teacher conference. Now, some grandparents might be helping their kids, but we've been fortunate that we can just enjoy them. We don't have all those responsibilities.
Not yet.
Well, not yet. That's true. Jack hasn't started the school. Yara, Zoe, Eli. Well, of course, Zoe and Eli live in Virginia, so we couldn't. But with Yara and Jack, when they do get in school activities, we might be called upon to say, "Hey, Mom or Dad, can you pick them up at the school?" And that wouldn't be a problem.
And that'll still be different doing it with your grandkids versus your own kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
You want me to read another one?
Yeah. Go ahead. Listening.
Grandparental leave on tap. Because grandparents aren't the primary caregivers, there's no waking up early or waiting up late. You have just the time you spend with them before you hand them back to the parents. Grandchildren turn up on your doorstep awake, washed, dressed, and conveniently ready to go. And when the fun is fading after the day of tricks, you hand them back, knowing that they have had a wonderful time.
That's right. On Wednesdays, when Jack comes over here, he's already had his breakfast, he's dressed, he's ready for the day. At the end of the day, when I take him back, he gets dinner.
Yep.
We just have the day of fun. There's no responsibilities, and voila, get to hand him back over.
You can be naughty. Let's face it, grandparents are practically made to break the rules because you've already been there and done that and are not the one officially in charge. You have absolutely nothing to prove to anyone, and you know it. Nobody is holding you accountable for how the children turn out, so you can go ahead and spoil them with the second bowl of ice cream.
I know, I
Want to
do
do
that.
that?
Yep.
Extend bedtime by a few hours. Tell rude jokes and soak them with a hose.
So
So
that's,
who does most of the spoiling here as far as giving them
snacks and treats, yeah.
treats,
Yeah.
letting them have treats before supper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have done that with
Junk
the kids.
food.
Yeah. Yep, we were just down in Virginia, and I took a granny bag with a bunch of little treats. Zoe had a field day with that.
Oh yes.
You're right.
Daddy wasn't too happy about it.
Hey, well,
But there again, you're the grandmother.
that's right. If I want to spoil
You have no
them,
responsibility.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have no responsibility how they turn out. That's up to the parents.
Spoil them and leave.
That's right. Yep. Go ahead.
You want to read all these?
Which ones? Let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
Time is on your side. As grandparents, you have loads of time. You're not in a rush, and you couldn't give two hoots about routine. You also know that life is short, so you relish every moment and are truly present because you're not busy trying to juggle your time with the grandchildren and never-ending list of other duties. That means you have the time to read them another story or let them help out with the cooking because you're not in a rush to get it on the table.
That's true to a degree. Now, we still are pretty busy. but we are not busy like we were when the kids were there.
And I think your priorities change over the years too.
Yeah.
And it is different. With your kids gone, you can prioritize your time differently.
The next one is wisdom is power. The great thing about having been there and done that is at the end of the day, it all comes out in the wash. If they don't eat their vegetables or take a nap, they'll come out just fine. If they don't wear a coat, they're not going to freeze to death or turn into a swamp monster if they get covered in mud splashing in puddles. So we're not as particular. Sometimes I can sense that in church where our daughter tries to make Jack listen and behave. And here I am giving him treats that cause a bag to crinkle, or, we're making noise back there, and every so often.
Not we're making noise. You and Jack may be making noise.
And then I get.
You get the dirty eyes from Mom.
Yeah, get the dirty eyes from Mom. So, yeah, it's just that we don't get as worked up over the little things.
Well, there again, it's not our primary responsibility to make sure the kid acts.
That's right.
I mean, we do have that responsibility, but not the primary responsibility.
No. I mean, it's not like I would let him go crazy or anything. But to me, it's okay if he makes a little noise.
You're just a little more lenient.
Yes. This one's good. Your stories are great. Now, this will probably be when they're old enough to listen to our stories and understand what the heck we're talking about. You've survived the years, lived through the swinging 60s. We actually did live through the 60s, but we were kids, so, seen a world your grandchildren have never seen and have a connection to some famous historical figure somewhere. Those stories which used to make your kids roll their eyes after they heard them for the 10th time are now the most interesting thing to your grandchildren. You can make anything from the past sound great, and you also know some pretty fun, embarrassing stories about their parents too. So that'll be something for teen years.
Everything you do is an adventure. One of the best things about being a grandparent is anything sounds like an adventure at your suggestion, because time with you is precious. Clearing out the
Go ahead.
One of the best things about being a grandparent is anything sounds like an adventure at your suggestion, because time with you is precious. Clearing out the garage, playing cards, a trip to the library. Just say the word and the kids are there, just like you proposed a trip to Wonderland. You can even pull out tricks like balancing spoons on your nose and be applauded for it. Unlike in your days as a parent where your children would have groaned.
Yes. And you know what? Let's go get some spoons and we'll see if we can balance them on our nose. Have you tried that?
Not for a long time. That's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We haven't done that with Jack. We might have to do that. He might find it fascinating.
Or just walk away from us shaking his head.
I know. Sometimes he just totally ignores us, especially me.
All right, you read the last one.
Yeah. There's no power struggles. You couldn't give two hoots if they had a bath, did their homework, or set the table. When the grandchildren are with you, it's always a holiday, meaning you don't have to nag them to do anything. And the only thing that matters when you're on this holiday is fun.
Yep. You remember when we would give our kids a bath? You didn't sit for very long and let them play.
No.
Maybe for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but there was things you had to do.
Jack hasn't taken a bath at our house for a while, but any time that he would, it would probably be a half an hour, 45 minutes that he would just play.
Play, yeah.
And we were content to sit there and just let him play.
Oh yeah, we'd watch him.
Yeah,
we just watch him play, and we just sit there. Both of us wouldn't be in there, but one of us would be in there, to make sure he was okay. But there wasn't a big rush to get him out of the tub and get him ready for bed. And maybe if you're a parent, though, there is a bedtime. There is things they have to maybe, especially if they're school age, they may have homework that they need to do, or maybe a snack, or get them ready and they need to be in bed by a specific time.
Not only that, you would have had laundry to do and the dishes to do. And, there was always some other responsibility to be taken care of that you didn't always have an extra half hour, 45 minutes just to
just sit and watch
Just
a
sit and
child take
somebody
a bath.
play, yeah.
Especially when you had, when we had 4 kids. I mean, other kids needed to bathe too.
Now, of course, I was just sitting on the recliner and watching
Yeah, no,
TV
you
at that
weren't.
time, but
Nope, you were a pretty hard worker back at that time. So here's just some cute little sayings about being a grandparent. It says, being a grandparent is one of the most rewarding relationships you can have. It's the same unconditional love you feel for your children, but with fewer struggles and a lot more fun.
and
That's true.
That's pretty well.
Yep, so this one, I used to think I was too old to fall in love again, then I became a grandparent.
And you do fall in love with them just as quickly as anything.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we all fall in love with our children, but as a grandparent, the first time you see that child, it's just like, it's just a blessing. This is a child that I can love, and I don't have the responsibility. I didn't just give birth.
I don't have to heal up from it.
I don't have to heal up. I don't gotta stay up late tonight. I can go hug and love on that child, and I can go home and go to bed.
Yeah, there you go.
It says grandchildren are the dots that connect the lines from generation to generation. They do. They connect us. This one's a good one. Grandmas are moms with lots of frosting. I like that one.
This is pretty good.
This one's good. A grandfather is someone with silver in his hair and gold in his heart.
I like that one too.
Yeah, you do have a heart of gold. And those,
I have a head of silver too.
and you do. You have a head of silver, a heart of gold, and a head of silver. This one's sweet. Few things are more delightful than grandchildren fighting over your lap.
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
It'll be pretty neat when Yara gets just a little bit older.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't have Eli and
Zoe.
Zoe here, but when they're a little older, like Jack's 5, you can actually interact with him now.
Yes.
And Zoe's getting there.
Yes.
And
Won't take long till Yara's doing the same thing.
Yara's getting there slowly.
She's
too.
getting her little personality.
Yeah, so to where they will interact with you
Yeah.
and so forth. Yeah.
Yep, and then they grow up and they're like Lexi, who is a nice young woman. She grew into a beautiful woman, always well-mannered and very pleasant to talk to.
We did good with her.
Yeah, we did good with her. Holding these babies in my arms make me realize the miracle my husband and I began. When you
That's a
hold
thought.
your grandchildren in your arms, you realize that you and your husband, that's why they're there.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been there.
They wouldn't have been there. You began that miracle. That's an awesome thought to
It
think
is.
that the grandbabies are here because of what we began. So,
And we do have a responsibility to teach them and love them and
oh yeah.
nurture
yeah.
them. Yeah.
We spoil them, but we still will teach them to respect, people and to be hopefully hardworking individuals who are kind and loving.
How to spitballs and
I
sort of thing.
That sort of thing, yeah. The best dads get promoted to grandpa. You were a great dad. You still are a great dad.
You were a good mama.
And you are a fantastic grandpa. Pat be Doug.
Pat.
A grandmother is a little bit parent, a little bit teacher, and a little bit best friend. We couldn't be best friends with our kids while they were growing up. I never was. I never tried to be. But I want to be my grandchildren's best friend.
And you are.
I like hanging out with them, and I don't have to be the parent. So now it's my turn to be friends. A grandfather is someone you can look up to no matter how tall you grow. And that's so true. Beautiful young people are accidents of nature, but beautiful old people are works of art. So you can be beautiful when you're little, it just happened, but to be beautiful and old, is when you truly are beautiful, even though, you know, the outside's not quite as beautiful as it once was.
You're beautiful in your soul.
Yes, you are. You're like the beauty that the Bible talks about. It's not the outside, it's
the inner
beauty. Oh, this is nice. One of the most powerful hand clasps is that of a new grandbaby around the finger of a grandfather. Oh, this one's too much.
Me ball.
Yeah. So those were some of these, and then here's some of the funny quotes.
To a small child, the perfect granddad is unafraid of big dogs and fears storms, but absolutely terrified of the word boo.
Yeah, yeah.
If I had known grandkids were so much fun, I would have had them first. You hear that?
You hear that one, yeah.
It's funny what happens when you become a grandparent. You start to act all goofy and do things you never thought you would do. It's terrific.
Yep.
And you've raised your own kids and you've gotten over that thing of using your imagination and pretending and playing with all these little things, you know, but here we are doing it again.
Yep.
Grandchildren, the only people who get more out of you than the IRS.
They can. You know, when, like, Jack, because he speaks, Yara and Zoe aren't quite to that age yet, but and Eli, of course, is a baby. But when he asks me something, it is so hard for me to say no. It's so...
I've noticed that.
Yeah. With the kids, I would have just said no. But with him, and it's going to be that way with the girls and Eli. It's just going to be that way. It's going to be hard to just tell them no for simple things. I'm not talking anything that should be, you know.
Like coming down.
Like coming down. Well, I did tell him no tonight, so.
If your baby is beautiful and perfect, never cries or fusses, sleeps on a schedule, and burps on demand, an angel all the time, you're the grandma.
That's right. Because we can look at that child and see the beauty and see that they're perfect, but we're not going home at night just like Yara gets up in the middle of the night and might stay up for an hour and a half. We're not there to see that. We just see the cute little adorable girl running around with her little pigtails.
You know you're a grandparent when you laugh when your grandkids do the same things that made you so angry when your kids did them.
Yep.
Which is true.
Yep.
When a grandparent enters the door, discipline flies out the window. Grandparents are there to help the child get into mischief they haven't thought of yet.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't spoil my grandkids. I'm just very accommodating.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
And last but not least, the best babysitters, of course, are the baby's grandparents. You feel completely comfortable in trusting your baby to them for long periods, which is why most grandparents flee to Florida.
Gotta get away from these grandkids.
It is an honor, actually, being a grandparent, and it feels good.
It does feel good.
It's satisfying in a whole different way than being a parent.
And you know, people who aren't grandparents, just because you don't have grandchildren, you are somebody's grandchild. So you can understand maybe a little bit why you cherish the time you had with your grandparents, why it was such a blessing to be with your grandparents, why you were spoiled a little bit more when you were around your grandparents.
I have fond memories of my grandparents, especially on my dad's side, Granny and Gramps. We spent a lot of time with them. Mom's dad, his nickname was Shorty. Didn't know him much as a little kid, but later on in my teenage years, I came to
know
him better and
Yeah.
to spend a little time with him. But yeah, it's a fond memories of my grandkids.
Yep.
My grandmother always had peaches and whipped cream.
That was one of your favorites,
That was one of
huh?
my favorites, and she always had Pepsi.
Pepsi.
The long bottles, the long neck bottles.
Okay,
Always had
Yeah.
soda in
The long neck bottles. I remember those long neck bottles. I remember though we used to go over to Dean Reiniger's store that was right beside the house there. we used to get those 8-packs of bottles, you know, the 16-ounce bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we used to take them back and I think he gave us like a nickel a bottle when we returned them. Yep. So that was our candy money, penny candy money. We had a good childhood. We had wonderful parents. We had fantastic grandparents. We've been blessed, and we pray that all of you out there are blessed in some way or another through a family member, a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, whoever your family is, that you were blessed and that you are a blessing to the next generation.
Amen.
So we hope you all have a wonderful week. Nikki, I'll be getting a hold of you for your talk time money. And Doug, would you like to close with a word of prayer, please?
Father, we just thank you for a wonderful day today. We thank you for the rain that we had earlier, Lord, because water is life, and Jesus is our living water, and we just thank you for that gift of water that you've given us. And Father, we also thank you for the privilege of being grandparents and for having grandchildren in our life to bring us joy and happiness. And Father, be with all of us that we can treat our grandkids with love and nurture them and grow them and give them wise advice through their young years also, Lord. And we just thank you for that joy. And we just ask for your blessing on all the parents and grandparents out there this evening. Watch over them, protect them, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good night.
Good night.